Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Week 1 recording, the Introduction to Programming Visual Basic.net. As you can see in the top right corner, my name is Mr. Harrison and I'm the teacher for this class. I think I've had many of you in computer fundamentals or other computer classes, so hopefully you understand the way my classes operate and the way I like to work with students. Very glad to have you here. I look forward to a really good quarter in this 9 or 10 week block for this class. So what I'd like to do is just get us off to a good start with showing you how the course works, and that's all that's going to be required for week 1. There's not going to be any classwork. It's just going to be introductory information for how the course operates, what you need to do as a student, and things like that. So it's really going to be a pretty easy week, and I do it this way because for a couple reasons. First of all, we're getting started in the middle of the week, so it's hard to assign regular classwork. Second of all, we'll be having some late starting students, and I don't want them to get too far behind with classwork, so we start off with this introduction. And third, today of course, is to help everybody be familiar with the class so they'll be successful as they start doing the work later on. So let's go ahead and jump right in, and I'm going to click right here where it says Getting Started. So getting started, you can see there are 5 items here. This is what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the Welcome to Class video, and that's the video you're watching right now. We'll go through the syllabus. We'll look at a couple of features of the orientation, the Introduce Yourself entry, and the learning plan. So those are the main things we'll feature, but then there's some other items I want to talk, such as grading, Class Connects, the work schedule, so you'll understand how the course works. So we're watching the video. First thing you want to do, of course, we'll go take a look at the syllabus. So there's the course syllabus, always in the top left. And you can see my contact information up here, my email address. Of course, if you connect with me through Kmail, which is what you should do in class, then you won't need my email address. You can just pull it up in Kmail. And my cell phone number, if you should ever need that, there you go. And for those that don't know me, there's my picture taken from the Oregon coast last summer. And the interesting thing, about 10 minutes after this picture was taken, we spotted a whale right here that came up to the surface. That was kind of cool. Well, I've been teaching online for a long time, since 2001, but I've also been an online student a couple of times. I earned my master's in online teaching and learning, and last year I completed my Colorado Principles program, and I did that all online. I've also been a regular classroom teacher, and in addition to teaching, I coach basketball and track. So I've been pretty busy in education for quite a while. Live with my wife and son in Grand Junction. My son goes to Grand Junction High School. He plays basketball and does track at Grand Junction, and hopefully he'll do a little bit better this year in his academic part. Okay, this class, VBNet programming, Visual Basic.net programming is what it's called. And this is an introduction to the basics of programming, and one of the reasons we use this is because it uses English language commands, so it makes it really easy in general to do a lot of the programming. One semester class, we'll be using Visual Basic Studio Express, so you want to download it from this location. And in this course, you're going to look at the fundamentals of the programming language and differences between different types of programming languages, software development or program development, some of the steps involved, how programs work. I mean, what is the logic behind programs? How do they think? And of course, programs don't think. They only react to the commands. They only do things based on the commands you give it. The programming architecture, which is how programs are built to solve problems. Look at .NET technology and why .NET is really popular today. Different types of applications that support .NET. You'll build, compile, and execute some programs, and look at designing some error-free programs and software. There are different units in the course. You can see there are about 7 or 8 different units, and they all cover specific topics within programming. Then finally, the grading for the course. As of now, there are 1,162 points. Now that could change, because as you know, sometimes we can go in if we feel like we need to take out one assignment in a course and add a different one, then that might change the points, but I will always tell you if something's been changed, and I would never ever change points after you've already earned points in an assignment, so don't worry about that. It'll always be fair to you. So that's the points, and here's where you always want to come to check on your points, because this gives you the exact points, but you also want to make sure you look at the grade book to find out how much things are worth. Because one thing we've done this semester at Insight, we're trying to make the classes as close to 1,000 points as possible. That way it's much more easy for students to figure out their grade percentage, and you don't have a class where you're trying to figure out 2,300 points or something. So in that case, we've adjusted grades. Now, as you know, within some of these courses, we cannot change some of the content that they have. For instance, if I go look at this assignment right here, this unit, it tells me what work is going to be in this unit, and it tells me the points. I can't change this because of the way the course is made. But these points are not the points I'm using for my class. So don't go by these points. Always, as it says, always go by the points that are listed in the grade book. And of course you can always find the grade book right up here. One feature of this class that some of you have had with me that I started last semester are what are called weekly Class Connect write-ups. And weekly Class Connect write-ups are preview documents that you turn in for work, and they're going to count probably about 1/3 of your grade, maybe even a little bit more. But these write-ups are real easy to do, and all you have to do for these is you watch the recording I have for the week, and then you find the answers to the Class Connect write-up questions, and then you submit the document with the questions and the answers. Real easy way to get a grade, and I'll show you as we move along how you'll do that work. Okay, so that's the syllabus under the Getting Started section. Now let's go look at the orientation. And the note you'll see in here is I want you to look at the success item and the study skills particularly. The other things don't really pertain to us too much. So I'm going to click on orientation here. And this orientation, actually this is the, it doesn't link to what it's supposed to link to. So we'll just forget the orientation for this class. Never mind. I don't see it anywhere else in here. Well, we'll forget the orientation part. I might go to copy some of those orientation materials, but I think you've gone through the orientations with your learning coaches and other Insight people anyway. Okay. The next item you need to do is the introduce yourself, and introduce yourself is a discussion item. So there's 6 questions here. You can see right down below, here's my response. So you can scroll down and see what Mr. Harrison has said, and you can see that when I answered these, I answered in complete sentences, so I expect you to do that. So when you go to do your answers, your entry, you'll just hit respond right here, then you'll put your answers in, and then you'll post it. And I would like you to feel free to reply to classmates. So go to classmates and see what they've said. Maybe you shoot them a hello or something like that. And please keep it the language and topics appropriate for school. And if when you look at a classmate's entry, and if you want to respond to them, then you click the word respond right underneath their item. But for your original items, you'll always hit the respond right here that's directly under the question for your original post. And now the learning plan, which is the graded assignment for this week 1. This assignment is worth 100 points. It's going to be about 10% of your grade, probably about 9% of your grade, and it's real easy to do. And you'll see that there are 7 questions here. So all you'll do with these, you'll highlight them all, right-click copy, then you'll go to the Kmail, and you'll start a Kmail to me, and you'll paste these in the Kmail, then you'll get your answers put in there. And what you can see is once you paste it into Kmail, then all you have to do is just delete the items that are not your answers. So for instance, if this was pasted in Kmail, and you wanted to do the class according to the way it's scheduled, you would just go in and you would delete these 2 items. Same thing with down here. If you're going to do 4 to 6 hours a week, then you would delete that, and you would delete that item right within the Kmail. Of course, on the fill in the answers, like on number 4, 5, or 4, 6, and 7, those you'll need to type out your answers. And I want full, complete answers. So in grading this, there are no real right or wrong answers, but you're going to be graded on completeness. So if for number 4, where it says explain what you will do to make sure you earn the grade you want, and you put I will study, that is not a complete answer. So I'll probably take off 5 points, maybe even 10 points for that. I want a complete answer. Finally, the last thing about this, in the KMail, when you send this, this should be in the subject line, exactly like this. If that's not in the subject line, then that's an automatic 5 points off. I am really a stickler for communications and doing things right. And the reason you have to put the course name in there is because when you send a KMail, it does not tell us what course you're in. So it can be confusing for teachers because we have a hard time remembering every course that students are in. So this will be the subject line of the KMail you send to me. If it's anything different from this, then I'm going to take points off. It's very simple to follow these directions, right? I hope so. So you do this in the KMail. If you do it correctly, you're going to get 100 easy points, get the class off to a good start. So that is really all there is for the getting started. Everything I've asked of you is right here. But now I'm going to do some other items, cover some other features of the course to make life easier for you. The first thing is the work schedule. In the work schedule, the current one is always located in the doc sharing area. So I'll click there. And the reason I post in the doc sharing is that way if I need to make changes to it, I can. It's much easier for me to make changes and post a new version. And the only changes I would make is if I decided to add a different assignment or delete an assignment or something like that. But you can see here's the course schedule, the different units of study, and what I've tried to show you is how many pages the different sections are. So give you an idea of what work you need to know. And of course for this one, for week 2, you're going to skip that discussion because I say to. Then that's 4 pages, 10 pages there, 9 pages. And of course that's not pages like a book full of pages of reading. Those pages are pretty short. And then finally, when you look at the assignments, I tell you what page it's on. So this assignment is on page 9 in section B in the SDA unit. So that's how you can tell how the schedule works. So download the schedule. You could print it out if you want to, and then if you print it out, when you complete these different items, you can just take your pen or pencil and draw a line through the item that you completed. So that's probably a good recommendation for you. So that's where the work schedule is, and you can see that I list the work schedule by the date. If I need to change it, then I'll put VBNet schedule as of 9/3 if I need to change that document. Okay, Class Connects, really important feature of my classes. And there are really 3 types of Class Connects we'll have. We'll have the live ones, the recorded ones, and then the Class Connect, and then an immediate one, and I'll talk about later. But like most teachers, they use Class Connects to present the class work. So you have your Class Connect schedule for like Monday, and you show up and the teacher says, here's the work you're going to be doing for the week. Well, I do it differently. I use my Class Connects as a way to answer questions about the work because I pre-record the lesson presentations. So the live Class Connects and hours for this class will be 10:30 to 11:30 on Mondays. I expect every student to at least show up and check in with me. You don't have to stay. So like it says right here, many students might just check in and say, hey, Mr. H, I'm doing fine, no questions. Then they head off and get work done. Other students might need help on assignments, so they might stay there so I can answer some questions. So it's up to you, but I expect every student to come to the Class Connect from 10:30 to 11:30, the live one, at least to say hello, to check in, or to get questions answered. Okay, the Class Connects for this class. As I said, I have recorded Class Connects for your work for the week. So as an example, week 2 starts next Monday essentially, or Tuesday actually. Week 2 starts. I will have a recording probably by the end of this week all ready to go, so you could watch the recording ahead of time, like maybe on Saturday or Sunday you could watch the recording, then on Monday you'd be able to attend the Class Connect, the live session, answer questions and things like that. So that's how I like to do my sessions. So the recordings be available for you at the start of each week. And those recordings will be used for the Class Connect write-up as I show you the answers. So you'll log into the weekly Class Connects, as I said, the live ones, and then finally for the Class Connect write-ups, to ensure that you watch the recordings, you'll do the write-up assignments, and I'll talk a little bit about those later on. And these introduce you to the work for the week. Very easy to earn the points. Okay, communications. Communication is really important in online classes because we don't get to see each other face to face, and we don't get to visit with each other very often, except in the Class Connects or phone calls or whatever. So there are about 4 or 5 ways you communicate with teachers, and I'm a real stickler for communications. So on the communications, what you'll see is there are announcements. The announcements, that's the best way to figure out what's current in the class. The way I use these announcements is I might have an announcement that, well, I will, for each week I'll have the weekly work announcement. And I'll show you an example of that here. I'll go to the course home. And there's the announcement for week 1 work. So I'll have week 2 work, week 3 work, week 4 work, etc. So that's one way I use the announcements. Another way I use the announcements is a way to answer questions for class-wide issues. So if I get from a couple of students, hey Mr. Harrison, we have a hard time downloading the software, then I'll put an announcement that says, here's how you download the software. That's where you find those answers. So before you come to me with questions about something, go to the announcements to see if maybe I've answered that. Sending K-mail. This is the best way to keep in touch with me. I check K-mail all the time. And when you do the K-mail, please follow these directions. The first thing in the subject line of the K-mail, put the name of the course, and then put the topic. So for instance, this might be a good one. VB programming, need help with adding 2 numbers program. That way I know what course you're in, and I know what your problem is. And then within the message, of course, you will type, you'll be specific about what the thing is. So in this one, within your message, you might type, Mr. Harrison, I've tried this program 3 times and it doesn't compile. Here's what I've done so far. Will you take a look to see if where my issue is, where my problem is? So the message needs to be specific. Because most of the times, if it's specific, I can just reply back to you and we can get the problem resolved in 2 quick emails. Last thing on these, when you're sending a K-mail to me, if it's a new topic, please make sure you revise the subject line. There's nothing worse than maybe sending a K-mail and you look at an old K-mail I sent you, and then you just reply to that one, but the information is completely different, but you don't bother to change the subject line. That really makes me mad. So always, if it's a new topic, just put in a new subject line. Very, very simple. Phone calls. If you need to talk to me on the phone, we'll schedule a time to talk. Just don't call me out of the blue. Because if you just call me out of the blue, I may be working with another student. I may not be at my office. Many different things can happen. So what we can do, if you need to talk on the phone, shoot me a K-mail. Hey, Mr. Harrison, can you call me at 1 o'clock? Here's my phone number. And I'll reply back and say, yeah, Mary, I'll give you a call at 1 o'clock. If it's an emergency, like if we have an assignment due at 1 o'clock that day or something, and it's 12:30, you can phone me in an emergency, but in general, K-mail is the best way. The Class Connects. I've been trying to figure out a way that I can have offer you immediate help. As some of you know, with Class Connects, they have to be scheduled ahead of time, and they can only be scheduled at 11:30, 12, 12:31, so only on the hour or the half hour. Well, I found a way around that. So what I've designed is something called an immediate Class Connect. And the way this works is you go into it, and I show up and right there to work immediately. And the way this would work is, let's say we've talked on the phone and I can't help you, and then I say, hey, let's go to a Class Connect. I'll meet you there in 3 minutes, and then I'll help you. It might be at 1:33, and instead of waiting until 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock when I can set up a new session, we both just click on Immediate Class Connect, and we're in there automatically, ready to work. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but it's really a great way to do just-in-time learning. Then finally, Windows Live Messenger. I'll try to remember to turn that on when I'm online, but you can add me right here if you want to. Let's see. Grading information. Talked a little bit about that already in the syllabus, but there's the grading scale. We've talked about all of this already. Immediate help. Here's how you get immediate help. So again, if we've made an agreement to meet for immediate help, all you have to do is click on the immediate help link right here, and then click on that link, and boom, you're right into immediate help. And it'll start doing it for you. So you just put your first name, last name, enter the session, and you'll go right to it. I'll be waiting in there for you. So that's really a great way to get just-in-time assistance. Okay, the last couple of things. Teacher contact information. All my information here is ready, available for you. So that's really all that I have to cover. Now there are other things in the course that I'll cover when I do the recording for next week. One thing I do want to make sure of, there's this thing called raise your hand right here in every unit. And raise your hand, it's a discussion. And the nice thing about this, students go in and they can put in, like if they have a question on some work or something, and then I can go in and answer that. However, I'm probably not going to be checking on this as often as I would be checking Gmail or Kmail. So I don't know how often we'll be using the raise your hand part, but what I might do, because as I said, I prefer using the announcements to announce issues like that, or just reply to you individually via Kmail. But we'll see if we ever use the raising hand. So anyway, that's all I have for you. And of course, for these first few days, you'll do all of this stuff very easy. We've done a lot of it already, and you'll do the My Learning Plan activity, which would be an easy 100 points. That's all I have for you. I look forward to your success in this class and look forward to you learning more about programming. Thanks everyone. Bye.